Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to start with one more concept, that is IP, the Internet Protocol, datagram format, addressing, the network address translations, and IPv6. Okay, so we are going to continue with this part today. Moving towards the next slide. Here you can see this is a new concept, but this concept has not written in your syllabus, but you should know before going for your IPv4 or IPv6. Okay, that is nothing but NAT. What is this NAT? The full form will be network address translation. So this concept you should know, because whenever the address will share in between your IPv4 to IPv6, that time we used to use the local area networks. Okay, so if you are using the local area networks by using your routers or switch or any kind of your IP addresses, that time how you are going to translate all the devices by using this local area network, that time you have to use this concept. Fine. So the full form will the full form for your NAT is network address translation. Let's see what is the meaning of this. All devices in local network share just one IPv4 address as far as outside world is concerned. So here all the devices, those who are present inside your local area networks, they will share only one IPv4 by using this NAT term. Okay, so they are going to use only one IPv4 address if they are going to connect with another networks. Okay, so here one example is there, you can see. So there are three systems which has been connected with one of the network, and that network has been placed in an isolated network because the switch is also connected over here. And here what is happening? They all have been connected with your routers. So as I told you, we have to give the IP address, right? So the IP address has been generated for this as this. So this zeroth network, and this one will be your one, the first system, then second system, then third system. And I have given one more IP address for my fourth one. That is my router. So this is my fourth number. So here I have been connected in this way. So if I want to connect all these things, suppose all these things has been connected in your home network. Okay, just imagine that wherever you are now, suppose you have used the home network. Okay, so you have taken the connections, suppose Airtel or anything, and that network will have one of the router, and with the router maybe you can connect your laptop, you can connect your desktop, you can connect your mobile phone, you can connect your smart TV, or if you want you can connect your tablet. All these things you can connect, right? So all the individual devices will create their individual IP addresses, and again the router will have one more IP addresses. Fine. So this that is called as your local network. If you are going to say it as your home network, that is also known as your local area network. Okay, and also the IP address, if you are going to give, as there is a subnetting devices. Why? Because we have connected with the switch also, and we are going to give always a subnetting. So if you are giving the subnetting, then it has to, the range will be within 24, right? So here it has to be take 24 bits of data. Now next, what is happening here? Here you can see that this is a datagram. Okay, this is a datagram where with the source or destination in this network will have the IP address bearing within this from your source to destination. So this is known as your datagram, because datagrams has to be passed, right? In your, this is a network address translation, means definitely this is based on your network layer, and in your network layer we used to pass the datagrams. So whenever we will pass the datagrams from source to destination, the IP address whatever will be there, it has to be, the range has to be in between this. Okay, so what is happening next? Here you can see the rest of the network in this side. Okay, that will be your outside of the world. Outside of the world in the sense that is connecting towards your different network. Okay, so it will have here the input input address of your router will be 10.0.0.4, but the output address of your router will be this one, right? Because it has been connected with your internet, and here definitely different networks has been connected. So here what will happen, when the datagram has been sent from your source to this side, any destination, then it will have an IP address. So that IP address is known as your NAT IP address, okay, which will have some different source port numbers. Because if individually at a time all 1 2 3 wants to send the datagrams through by using this router, then all the outputs has to be taken care of only this IP address, right? All has to be connected with this. So when all the many systems will connected with one IP address, that kind of IP address is known as our NAT IP address. And if it is having, so you can see here, this is a local network, okay? So all datagrams, those who are leaving the local networks, local networks in the sense, when they are passing the datagrams through this, so it will have the source NAT IP address, okay? So here they will have the source NAT IP address, which one will be your output of your router's IP address, okay? But whenever the port numbers, if I will consider, the port numbers will be different, because individual port numbers can send the individual datagrams, fine? So that is all about your network address translation. Moving towards the next slide, here you can see all the devices in local area networks have 32-bit addresses, okay? And that is also known as your private IP address. So what is this private IP address? Private IP address in the sense, it will have some address space, okay? It will have some address space. It means that this prefix you have to use, okay? If you will use this prefix, then for any of the local area networks, you can use this NAT address, and you can send within this range. I will explain you. Suppose I have 10, okay, I have taken 10 bits of data. So what I will do is, I will create one address space where I can store 10 bits of data, okay? So when I will send from my source to destination, suppose 5 at a time, 5 hosts at a time wants to send a message to the destination, that time what I will do, I will not utilize the 5 at a time from this 10 address space. What I will do, I will consider as 1, because at a time I am sending the 5, right? So it will use only my one IP address, and that also privately I have to give, because individually everything will have 32 bits of address. So they can use only one time. Suppose if they are passing at least one time, 5 has been connected, then it has to take only one space, and they will combine together. Like you can say that WinZip, you are using zip, right? So WinZip, what it is doing, it will just, the space whatever your main file is having, it will just zip it, right? And it will compress the file, and it will make accommodate within your address space, and also less than that. So that is nothing but it is a kind of your this kind of work, okay? This address space will utilize in that way. So what are the advantages we are getting if we have all this? We will have only one IP address, okay, which is needed from your provider. Who is a provider? Your ISP. Who is the ISP? You can say that your Airtel network or any networks, whatever you have been used, that will be your IP. It is giving the IP address, okay, for all the devices. So it will have only one IP address. Why? Because all these things has been connected to your network address translation. So it will have only one source NAT. As it is having one source NAT, so it will have the provider will send only one NAT IP address. Okay, so that is the advantage. We can save the time. So it is also one example, as I told you, the WinZip. So in WinZip, how you are compressing the files, in the same way you can do here itself. And also it can change the address of host local area network without notifying the outside world. If sometime you came to know that this local, whatever the IP address has been given, it has been utilized by some other network, then what you can do, you can change this address without affecting anything. Because whatever address in the normal way, if I will tell you, whatever the address you will give, your letter will reach in that address, right? So if you are changing your address, it will not affect to the sender who is sending you the letter, because whatever the address you are giving, it will accept in that way. So here also in the same way, if I will change the IP address inside my local area network, okay, then the outside world will not have any problem, because no need to notify them that I'm changing my address. But whenever the outside world wants to change, wants to send you anything, that time you have to provide your current IP address. And the next point is, that is also one more advantage. One more point is, it can change the ISP without changing the address of devices in local area networks. What is the meaning of that? I can give you the example. Like suppose in your home now, you have taken Airtel network, right? And your address is like your home address you have given, one IP address you have given, and you have taken Airtel network. Now you don't like this Airtel network, you want to go for some other network. Now, do you want to change your address? Do you want to change your home also? No need, right? Because the home address, let it to be same. But the provider, the service provider, those are providing us the network, the net connections, that IP, that ISP only we can change. So you can change your ISP by without affecting your address. And that also in the similar way, you can have your same IP address. So without changing anything, you can have your same IP address. What is the next one? The next, definitely one more, this kind of advantageous case, always you have to make a note of this security. This is a point. If you are writing in computer networks, any advantageous case, you need to highlight this one. This is very important. So what it is doing, as the devices inside the local area network are not directly addressable, but visible by the outside world. It means that suppose you have changed your Airtel network to some other network, then through that provider, everybody in the outside world will come to know that your network is not now no longer connected with your Airtel network, because you have already changed. So in that way also, the security will not change. Security it will provide, because every service provider, first they will assure you that they will provide you the security. Without security, it cannot be happen. So all the devices inside your local area network will not be directly addressable, but it can be visible to your outside world that you have taken your Airtel network. So these all are the advantages of your NAT. So now how you are going to implement this? You know that we have some of the algorithms in our module 3, all the module 3 algorithms provided by your router algorithms. Okay, so here this using this NAT also we have used some of the algorithms. So here you can see the implementation part, how the outgoing datagrams has to be replaced. So if you want to replace your outgoing datagrams, so in your program you have to write the source IP address, replace source IP address, you have to write, give the port number. Okay, so for every outgoing datagram, you have to link it with NAT IP address with a new port. So if you will write in this way, you can change or replace the new port number. Okay, these things you have to write in your program. One more thing is also there, if you want to change your remote clients or services will respond, how your remote clients or servers will respond, they will respond through your NAT IP address and also new port number, because that will be your destination address. So if you want to remember any IP address, how you are going to remember? For every source IP address and port number, if you want to remember it, how you are going to remember? You have to give this keyword and write NAT IP address, new port number. You have to do the translation pair, like how in the Bluetooth by using also we are doing the translation pair, so that always it can remember the password. No need to give always the passwords, right? In the same way, we have to make it a pair for your source IP address to your NAT IP address and port number to new port number. Then always it will remember the password. No need to give always a IP address. How you are going to do replace the incoming datagrams? In the similar way, the opposite of your outgoing datagrams. Okay, so first you should write NAT IP address with the new port number in the destination side, and in your NAT there will be, as I have told you before, forwarding table. In the same way, here also one more table will be there, that is known as your NAT table. Inside your NAT table, all the source IP address, like destination IP address, NAT IP address, everything will be stored with your port number, new port number, old port number, everything will be there. So from that NAT table, if you want to replace any of the IP address, you have to take this NAT IP address and you are going to pair it with your source IP address, and new port number you are going to replace it with your port number. So in this way you can give your incoming, you can replace your incoming datagrams. So here let's see one diagram is there. As I told you that NAT table, translation table, how it looks like. You can see here where we are going to create this NAT table. We are going to create this NAT table in the place of your routers. So this part already I have explained to you in the first slide itself. There is some of the systems are there which has been placed over in one of the network, and all are placed inside your isolated network, and they have been connected with your routers, and everything is having one IP address. And what is my NAT IP address, source address? So this is my outside world, and it is having my IP address. So I have to create the NAT translation table over here. So this is my as local area network. So I will have written here LAN side address. As it is wide area networks, I have written here WAN side address. So how it is happening now? In the first case, source address, suppose it is this, okay? The source address is 10 point. So this system is sending the message or datagrams. So 10.0.0.1. So port number is 3345. Okay. So destination address will be this much, and the port address has been given. So here the host, this one, sends a datagram to this port number. Okay. So 8080 is the default port number. So this is my IP address, and this is my new port number. Next, what will happen? In this side, it has to accept, right? So how it is going to accept? You can see here, what is my source NAT address here? You can see this one, 138.76.29.7, and here the port number, okay? And here the destination, from this destination it has come. So it, as the destination IP address already has been mentioned, so it is going to copy and paste over here. So if I want to fill my NAT table, how I'm going to fill it? In my LAN address side, I have to write the source part here. Okay, I have written the source part, and in my one side, I have to write the source part. This is my source part. So what happened? Now in this case, the NAT router changes the datagram source address, because here you can see this was the source address, but here the NAT will change the source address. Where to where? From this one to this one, because if next one again it will send, that also will go according to this. Fine. So in this way it is going to be helpful. Now let's see how the reply has gone. Okay, how we are sending the reply. So if I will send any reply, so the reply, first it has to go with the destination address. What is my destination address? So here, this one I have given, right? So here you can see my source will be here. This one will be my source, because from here only I'm sending. So which one is my destination? Destination will be this, because it has to reach over here, right? So here it has to be opposite. I told you it will be opposite. So next one, how it is going to reach over here? Whenever it will reach, so it will just replace it. Okay, it will just replace. So in the source side, what will be the source side? Who has come from here? You can see this is my source. From source it has come, but the destination was my NAT address, but here it is going to be replaced with the original one, that is 10.61 and all, and it is going to reach over my first host address. So this is my NAT table. So here, what are the controversials happens in your NAT? The router should only process up to your third layer, that is network layer, not more than that. And it will have the shortage which can be solved by IPv6. Now, I hope you have understood why we have moved to IPv6. That's the reason I wanted to tell you the concept about your NAT. As this kind of problems are there, this kind of problems can be solved in your IPv6. That's the reason we have moved towards your IPv6. So now one more point, it also violates the end-to-end arguments, because the port number can be manipulated by using any of the network layer devices. And how this NAT traversal is going to happen? If any client wants to connect of any server behind NAT, then that will be a problem. because the client wants to connect with the server. If they don't want to connect through your NAT, so that kind of traversal problem may create inside your NAT, um, uh, NAT networks. So how this NAT is going to stay? It is generally it is going to be work out only inside your home or institutional net, wherever there will be any 4G or 5G connection connectivity. So now you can see here what is my IPv6 motivations. Why I have moved towards my IPv6. This is my initial motivation. The first one will be, we have talked about the address space. So here we are going to take care of the address space. How we are going to take care address space? Here 32-bit IPv4 address space would be completely allocated. So first motivation will be in my IPv6 is that the 32-bit whatever address space has been provided by your IPv4, everything has to be completely allocated. So what will be the additional motivation to my IPv6? The additional motivation will be, it can be your 40-byte fixed length header. We have one table, right? One IPv6 data, one table will be there, like how whenever you will send any message, in which format you are going to send a message. Remember, this IPv6 will be a 6 or 8 marks of question in your exam, and that time you have to do the format, IPv6 format. So that time the header length has to be fixed with 40 bytes of data. So next one will be, it enables a different network layer treatment of flows. Whenever there will be a flow of message, it has to enable the network layer. So this is my IPv6 datagram format. As I told you, this has to occupy completely 32 bits of data. That should not be any free address space. So what are the individual things? Here you can see the source address and the destination address has to take off 128 bits of data. So all these things will be in your IPv6 addresses. They have to take allocated space will be 128 bits of data. So this is known as your flow label, which will identify the datagrams in the same flow, that all the flow of datagrams are moving properly or not. All these things, this flow label has to take care. And also it will show that from where to where the datagrams are moving. Here you can see the PRI, that is nothing but priority. It has to see that which datagram is having the more priority to flow, to send towards your flow label. So that things has to be checked out inside this priority. And what all other things are missing if you will compare with your IPv4? Here there you can see, there is here, this is my versions, this is my payload length, okay, this is my next address, this is my hop limit, and this is my payload data. But have you remembered in your IPv4 there will be the checksums, wherever by seeing that checksums, if any errors are there, we are going to calculate. But here that is missing. And also fragmentation and reassembly concept is also missing, because whenever we will send any message, if there are some many networks are there and connected, so my datagrams will break and again it will reassemble in the destination side. So that format is also missing inside your IPv6. And also one more thing is missing, that is there is no options. It is only available as your upper layers or in your next header protocol at your routers. So what are the transitions you are going to do from your IPv4 to IPv6? The first thing is you have to see all the routers has to be upgraded simultaneously, because whenever you are transiting from your IPv4 to IPv6, because this kind of question can come for your 4 marks, okay, you have to remember what are the transitions you are going to take place, has to be takes place in between your IPv4 to IPv6. That time all the routers has to be upgraded simultaneously, okay. That should not be any flag days, that should not be any flag you are going to give. And how you are going to operate if IPv4 or IPv6 routers will be merged together. So to do all these things, we have one more new concept, that is tunneling. Okay, this tunneling concept will carry the payload. Fine, this IPv6 datagram will carry the payload in IPv4 datagram among your IPv4 routers. So whenever the payload carrying will come, that is known as your tunneling. So it is like packet within a packet. So inside the packet, again you can keep some more packets and you can send that one through by using this tunneling concept. See how day by day the messages are getting little like complex, because we are going to send the packets in this way if we are using the IPv4 to IPv6. And also this tunneling will use extensively only in this concept, like in your 4G or 5G concept. You can see here, this is the diagram. Consider the total one is your IPv4 datagram, and the blue color marked one is your IPv6 datagram. So now what will happen? This is your header fields. Okay, this is your source address and destination address for your IPv4. So now if you have some payload, so that will be inside this. You can see the red color is also there, and inside that blue color is there. That blue color will carry the IPv4 payload. Okay, that is nothing but that will consider as your tunneling. So once the tunneling will start, inside IPv6 datagram itself, it will create the headers, it will create the source address and destination address. If it has some UDP or TCP payload, that also it will create. So all these things will be inside the packet, right? Inside this IPv4 datagram. This concept is known as your tunneling concept. So here, this is all about your IPv4 to IPv6.